Sure, I'm safe. Let's look out for each other, you know. These are strange times, strange days, right? So we got to know where each other are. And if we know we do this every last Wednesday at 4:20 and you don't see somebody who's usually here, make sure they're all right, you know. So it's good to start on that note, and it's good to see a lot of people feeling all right. Just a few updates of what we've been doing and what we've been up to. Here, let me get this. Okay, there we go. So Tuesdays and now Wednesdays at 5 o'clock, we're going to be at Jane Kim's new headquarters, which is 37 Grove Street. So it's like, hey, it's like right near City Hall. They always have coffee, sometimes bagels, you know, sometimes there's something to nosh on. But real briefly, why am I really getting behind Jane Kim? Because a lot of really nasty corporations are really getting behind Scott Wiener.
Yep.
And, you know, I've never been a big fan of him to begin with.
No.
But this is really serious stuff.
Yep.
And it's really going to benefit, you know, I don't ask anybody to get involved in any type of political thing that's not going to directly benefit disabled patients. And it will directly benefit us to secure Jane Kim in the state Senate seat. Because then we're going to have a real voice. Because I don't know if you noticed, their task force has no independent patient voice. You know,
Nope.
Scott Wiener's task force on cannabis is really terrible. And I wrote a letter recently, if you're on my Facebook page, you probably saw it, about him doing some illegal lobbying for Prop 64, which is fake legalization. And here's the first reason why we're calling it fake legalization. If you can still go to jail for cannabis, is that where we want to be at?
No way.
Shameful. I want to tell you guys about what happened in the background because everybody deserves to know. There were several different community ballots being filed. Ours was in the top three, right? We had CCHI, which is the Jack Herrera initiative, which has been going strong for, gosh, I don't know, like 15, 20 years. They've really been trying to get that taken care of. We got good friends on that team too. And then we had the MCLR, which several of us here were actually proponents of. I was a proponent, Stephen Crane, Denise Story, John Martinelli. There was a lot of folks that were involved in that. And what was unique about that is it was written open source, so anybody online could chime in and be a part of writing that policy. Well, so you have all these community ballots being turned in at the state capitol, right? And all you got to do is pay $200 and you turn in, and then the government looks over and sees if it's legally applicable, not in any judgmental way, just does the law make sense. And then,
Yes.
you know, you have to go through now a public comment period, which is awesome, I think. And then you have to be able to get yourself enough signatures to get on the state ballot for voting. Well, while all these community ballots were turned in, how many of the community ballots do you think had jail for cannabis? Yeah, the big fucking zero. Nobody else had the fucking audacity to consider putting somebody in behind bars for cannabis except for Drug Policy Alliance and Sean Parker and Eric Pearson and Scott Wiener and Gavin Newsom are the only people that thought to still make money out of making people human captives over a non-violent issue.
Yeah.
So I want everybody to really understand that no other community team had any jail time associated. Did they have permitting structures? Yes. Did they have rules and regulations to organize a billion-dollar market? Really, it already is. Yeah, of course there were rules and regulations, but nobody else considered putting somebody behind bars. So now we have Prop 64, which has jail time. And it really targets urban poor people, and I'll tell you why. There's one key thing. So when we think of open container laws, we think of something like Okay, a 40-ouncer with a cap off and you're walking down the street. That's a violation, right? That's an open container. They're applying that now to cannabis. So what on earth is an open container of cannabis? It's a reason for a cop to start a conversation with you regardless. And so when you're working on drug policy reform like I do, what we want to do in the current atmosphere in America is give cops zero excuse to interact with people, actually. We want to protect people from law enforcement interactions, people who are not doing anything violent. This law would increase interaction with law enforcement because it, number one, outlaws public smoking of cannabis, so that's what we're doing right now, so they'd have every reason right now to come over and talk to us. And then the open container law is just crazy because anything, like, for example, now, currently, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm about to just do. Oh, I'm sorry, this is an open container. If there's no legal definition of what an open container is, the whole arena of how police officers can come into your life and say, what's this, changes with this law. And yet they're out there saying that it's like some great liberator, right? It's not. It has a lot of sneaky stuff in it. A lot of sneaky stuff in it. And see, the scary thing is, a lot of people are just going to vote for it because they see cannabis and legalization, and their thought process stops right there. So we are going to be the only people that are going to be talking to people about looking a little bit further into what this law actually does. And so October 21st, Access to Love Patient Advocacy Team is going to be holding a town hall to educate people about what is this law really about.
What day is it?
October 21st. And then next month, the last Wednesday of the month, we're actually going to do an action directly after this picnic. We're going to go to the Democratic Party Central meeting, so the meeting of the Democrats of our county and city, and they have representatives from our state positions too, and you know, basically it's their inter-party discussion, and we're going to head over there, and we're going to really strongly let them know that we don't support Prop 64. Tonight, I'm going to simply go over there and ask for it to be put onto the agenda again, because what happened last time is that Access to Love mobilized with 4 hours warning and got before the Democratic Party and told them that 64 was up to no good. We lost by 1 vote. So then that resolution went up to the state party, and the state party went in support of it. And the reason the state party is going in support of it is because they're politicians, and Sean Parker and certain people that want to monopolize cannabis give them money. So, you know, now we're going to say, hey, we lost by 1 vote, and there's a whole new seating in. Let's relook at this issue. And that's what I'm going to be doing later tonight, is asking the Democrats to relook at this issue. And then next month, we're all going to head over there and demand that, you know, they take another look at this. And I bet there's a lot of people here that have been registered Democrats their whole life. So you have every right to chime into their conversation next month, you know? Don't let them have a conversation amongst themselves, please. Thank you guys for letting me get on my soapbox and let me tell you what I've been working on.
Andre, Patricia DeFont, Peter Gayota, Frank Martin Del Campo, and Shona.
So, since when did we how long have we been able to really trust Monsanto, Big Pharma, and the private prison industry? You know, and that they're behind Prop 64, the proposition that is meth lab politics that will disallow solar grows, outdoor grows, and 7 plants will get you a jail term, and there's a 3 strikes law that will get you 4 years in jail. Just if you get busted 3 times with 30 grams, which is just over an ounce, you have a chance of going to jail for 4 years, and that includes kids. So I want to thank everybody who didn't vote for that. We need sanctuary city policy, even though Scott Wiener's task force thinks that the Prop 64 is going to pass. They're acting like it's already a done deal, when actually we really need to have a sanctuary city against this Prop 64 that they think is going to pass. And somebody's trying to build their career on it too, and it's really it's mean-spirited law. It's the worst thing I ever saw in my life. You know, it's enough to make me want to move to Costa Rica. Bye.
Paul Warner. I'm the Executive Director of Access of Love. We've been around for 15 years and we have a lot of allies in the cannabis community. So I'm here tonight to kind of ask the exact opposite of a lot of what has been asked, and I'm actually asking you to re-look at a vote. When we were here last time discussing Prop 64, it was voted in favor by one vote, and everybody seemed very confused as to which way they were going to vote. And this is not supported and not endorsed by California NORML, the Growers Associations, and many patient associations. So my three asks would be to revisit this, to look at doing an educational forum, and to look into actually protecting the compassionate providers of San Francisco as our city has directed by law. Thank you.
Yay.
We have Prop 64 on, and it's caused a lot of concern regarding medical cannabis and the medical growers. And some of the concerns is when you put new legislation in, if it passes, there could be unintended consequences. And San Francisco is a sanctuary city for medical cannabis and for growers, and so I'd like to put together a resolution to make sure we actually protect the medical cannabis in San Francisco as well as the growers, and put some teeth into the sanctuary part of it. So I'm gonna be looking into that and bringing something forward, but I think we need to make sure there is no unintended consequences that's going to affect the sanctuary city here that we have for medical cannabis. And whether you like 64 or not, we just need to protect what's already there for the medical patients and for the citizens of San Francisco.
Thank you. Member Mars.
Okay, I would just like to thank you very much, Ms. Nash.
Support the comments by Member De Jesus, and if there will be a resolution that will be coming forth, it seems like we should invite the medical cannabis community as well and the clubs that would be affected in order to invite people to weigh in during the crafting of the resolution, but also to be able to give information and speak from their points of views at the next meeting. I think that'd be a great opportunity for us to outreach to the community.